Hey good Christian boys and girls, nice to see you again. It's Sunday, so remember you owe me money, and Sunday is a day for you to learn about me. And as you know, one of the things I'm doing on this little visit to Earth that I'm doing right now is I'm clarifying a lot of the stuff that y'all seem to have gotten wrong in the book that I wrote. I wrote a book, I thought it made pretty good sense and that you guys would be able to understand everything I said, but apparently y'all don't got it yet. And I needed to come down here and to clarify this. Okay, so let's talk about swords. You remember I said I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword, turn son against father, slave against master, stepdaughter against stepmom or daughter-in-law. The little guy to turn against the big guy. To start some shit and to bring a sword. And I also said, let he that doth not have a sword sell his cloak to buy one. And so people are asking, do I literally want people to sell their cloaks to buy swords, or is there something contextual? Well, of course it's contextual, because people don't really wear cloaks that much anymore, and swords aren't really, the sword is sort of a metaphor for a weapon, so I want you to sell your stuff to buy weapons. You can use stuff like Poshmark, Etsy, eBay, Amazon. There's a lot of places where you can sell your stuff and use that money to buy a weapon, ammunition, survival equipment, etc. That is the meaning of sell your cloak and buy a sword. It's not to literally buy a sword, but to arm yourself. And what do I want you to arm yourself with? Really, you should just arm yourself with whatever you can get. If you can only raise about $200 or this Black Friday weekend, $189 at a local store. The Mossberg Maverick 88 is a good $200 sword that's approved by Jesus Christ. It holds 5 3.5-inch shells in the chamber. Silly Jesus. I'm used to Roman swords, alright. We didn't have these back when I was doing my thing. Holds 5 shells in there, and you can put another one in there. If you're using shorter shells, like these are, I think 2 3/4-inch buckshot, and these are a very versatile weapon. They, of course, shoot birdshot, so you can acquire food with it. There's a lot of different kinds of ammunition you could use. Rifled slugs. Double-aught, triple-aught buckshot. Number 4 buckshot is what I would recommend for kind of a general defensive. Though for inside your dwelling, I don't disrecommend birdshot. People seem to think, well, of course you're not going to be hitting Roman centurions at a great distance with it, but for around your dwelling, then that's really all you need. You can also improvise your own ammunition, such as these are wax slugs, which they were birdshot, and then they were filled with wax. And a safety thing that you need to take into consideration when doing that is when it gets thrown into the tube, or the barrel, the slug may come out. One way to remedy that is you get this attachment that you would put on a drill, and this is a whoops, I'm unscrewing it. It's a roll crimp. You put this on the shell, and what it does is it spins around and it creates friction and it forces it in to create a roll crimp around it. It is the same roll crimp that you would use if you are casting your own slugs. There is much galena about, and in times such as these, you do need to be acquiring that and stockpiling on not only what weapons you can use, but what you can use to feed those weapons. Even just saving up shotgun shells from the range. People seem to think that these are useless, but especially if you get the ones with the longer brass on the holes, you can take these and you can reload them sometimes 6 or 7 or 8 times, depending on what you're shooting them in, what you're shooting through them, and you can make pretty good slug ammunition, both wax slugs and lead slugs. And for that purpose, you are going to need a tool like this, which is just kind of a conical thing inside there that you put on the edge of the at the edge of the shell, and as it rotates, it's going to create friction, and then it's going to force it in, and because it's melting on the friction, it's going to create a solid roll crimp on there to hold in both your wax slugs and your lead slugs. So I hope this has been informative to you, and I hope I've clarified what I wrote in my book when I was speaking about a sword, about how I'm coming, and there's going to be a glorious appearance, and I'm going to eviscerate the enemies of Christ. And those of you who I've chosen to be in my army of the 144,000, I hope that you will take this to heart, and you will follow my word, and you will like and subscribe and give me money, and tell me what kind of weapons you have acquired for being part of my army, and are you telling others about my army? This is one of my commandments. You need to be disciples of me unto all nations. If you are just giving me money, but you are not telling your brethren about me, you are failing me as one of my subjects. So, if you have not told others about me, if you have not hit that share button, I don't even know if you're really worth salvation. So, for those of you that have, blessings upon you, and you will reap the benefits in your immediate future, I promise. If it were not so, I would have told you. So this is Jesus Christ, signing out.